Hey, welcome to the NWGA Friday Night Scoreboard. Week 6 is in the books. We have a special guest with us tonight, Kevin Myrick. Um, we got Ben Burge as always. Um, just putting the scores in here, glancing over the scoreboard. Like I said, I think last weekend was the upset weekend of the week. This one pretty much went as expected. Is there any scores that jump off the board to y'all, Benton?
Um, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised by it, but the Darling, or excuse me, Daresville beating Ringo 49-10. That was a little wider range victory than I expected. I expected that to be a little bit closer of a game.
Yeah, Ben, I agree with you. I expected that one to be a little bit closer of a game too. That is a much bigger spread than I would have thought in that game. I wonder what happened to Ringgold.
Yeah. I mean, the Tigers are a tough team, man.
Mm-hmm.
Adairsville, plenty of
Uh,
offense.
uh,
Defense stepped up.
I'll say a rival showdown that really surprised me was Bowden Temple score 55-27. That game got really lopsided really quickly.
Yeah, Bowden, number one ranked team in Cal Preps. I think number three by the AJC. Looks strong going forward. I would love to see the box score in that game, man. Yeah, I think one of the biggest surprises to me on here is Gilmer County 35, Wesleyan 20. I mean, if you had told me before the season started that Gilmer would beat Wesleyan by 15 points, I never would have believed you.
Wouldn't have believed it
Wesleyan,
either.
yeah.
Well, if you listen to who picked Gilmer this week, pick 'em, then you would have
Yeah.
known Gilmer was going to win that game.
Yeah, I was going to try not to bring that up tonight, man, because I think you're burying
Oh,
me. I think you're
oh
burying me right now, man. I'm going to have to come up with some upset specials and
man.
uh,
uh, I seen that score and I was like, wow. And another one that I noticed, my upset special hit Gordon Lee with a 26-22 victory. Now I did hear in Lafayette's defense. I mean, a loss is a loss, obviously, but the big running back was out, starting quarterbacks out, down to their third guy. So played tough against um, Gordon Lee. I guess you could say left-handed or with a hand tied behind their back with missing folks. So.
yeah, I got to give a shout out to the Bremen Blue Devils, man. I picked against them this week as my upset pick of the week, and they just came out and put the hammer down, 31-6. Um,
They did exactly what you said. They were upset with your pick of the week.
yeah.
Here's an interesting one for you guys too up there. Cola Creek at LFO 25-22 Colts. I didn't expect that one to be so close.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise, man. I saw the score early in the fourth quarter. It was 14-13, and I was like, man, what is going on? But I don't know if the Colts looked past LFO. LFO just stepped up and played them well. See what else we got in here. Hey, Rome's offense showed up tonight.
Yes, sir.
42 points on Alatoona. We said earlier in the week, man, that 31-point spread looked huge. I mean, but Rome, comes out and beats them by 22. I think Alatoona scored late. If Rome can keep that going from here on out, man, they'll be tough come playoff time.
How about Southeast Whitfield picking up the win tonight again? They're moving
Yeah,
into 4-1 on the year and the first time in forever. They were playing Druid Hills. I kind of expected that outcome myself, but good job, Raiders. They've got something going on up there.
yeah, that's what it takes, man. If you're trying to build a program that hasn't had a lot of success, you need to get those games where you can get those wins. 4-1, great start for them. Like I said, man, they have a tough road going forward, though.
Oh, yes,
That's
they do.
that 7-4A, man, is a gauntlet, and it begins next Friday night.
Talking about a team that's changed their ways lately. The Lumpkin Indians, man, put a thumping on Pickens tonight, and they're rolling. Did that put them at 4-0 or 5-0?
5-0.
5-0. And we go back to we seen this team in the spring against Armurchie, and
Man,
they
I
were
hope he's
pretty
all
good
right.
at that. Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to find out if he's all right.
Yeah.
My washing machine sometimes goes crazy, and my computer happens to be right next to it. Sorry about that, fella.
I thought it was a dog attack, man. I
I
thought you were
thought
getting
it was
got.
a dog. I thought she was under siege.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
joined by Kevin Myrick, man. Polk County Sports Wire. You guys follow him on
Yes,
Twitter,
sir.
Facebook.
So looking at Cedartown tonight. Speaking of dogs, man, what a big win for them over uh, Dalton. It's first time since 1997 that they played.
Yeah, I saw they were up of 43-0 first half. I mean, maybe as much as 29-0 late first quarter.
Yeah, they put up big touchdowns in the first half. The first team kids came out in the second, and Dalton scored late on a field goal and a very late touchdown with like maybe a minute left in the game with a running clock. They were not able to convert on 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I was telling the guys before we went on, man, I feel sorry for all those people in my pick'em contest. Cedartown was a 34.5-point favorite. Dalton covers 34. Pepper with a win. Should have scored more, but got a bye week to get things better and corrected. Great region win. That's the game you were at tonight, Ben.
Yeah, it was a slugfest early, kind of back and forth, a couple punts. Pepperell hit a big play on a pass to Rogers and ended up punching the first touchdown in, and then it kind of went back and forth again, and then Pepperell takes the ball second half and goes down and scores. And Chattooga really, I mean, they drove the ball at times. They drove the ball pretty well. Kind of hurt themselves with penalties. Couldn't get in the end zone until I think there was a minute 20 left. And at that point, I mean, the game was pretty much on ice. Big win for the Dragons. Go to 1-0 in region play.
Very important game next Friday night, man, out here on Highway 27 North for you guys. The Blue Indians and the Red Indians.
I think that'll be a battle. Looking at the result tonight, was it in Armurchie or was it at Coosa tonight?
It was at Coosa. It was at Coosa tonight.
Yeah, Coosa showed up, put what do we say, 33?
33-17 was the final.
Yeah, put 33 up, and that we talked about it. Coosa's been scoring more and more as the weeks go. I think they're finding their strides on offense, and they were able to hold Armurchie down to get their first region win. So yeah, big one next week.
Yeah, and Coosa was this is their third upset win in a row. Like I said, they're scoring a lot more points. They got a big one next Friday night, hosting Darlington. I think they're going to Darlington next Friday night.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
Lawrence, were you up at Darlington and Dade County tonight?
I was not, but I watched it, and I can tell you the Darlington Tigers, man. If you're going to beat Darlington, you're going to have to throw the ball. They held Dade County to under 50 yards tonight on the ground. Tons of penalties in the game for Dade County. So kind of slowed them down. I think the second week in a row they've had over 100 yards of penalties. But I think going forward, man, I think Dade is definitely a playoff team in 7A. Cooper's something else back there at quarterback. Kid has some wheels, man. Hancock chasing him around all night.
I was going to say that those guys holding a Cooper in the bunch to 50 yards, that's a feat right there. I think, everybody would pretty much agree that Darlington looks like the class of the region. There's a couple that have a couple teams that's going to have some say-so, but you're going to have to go through Darlington, and it's going to be a tough one.
We're going to find out next Friday night where Trine stands. Dade County at Trine, that's going to be a good game.
I agree. I think
that's going to be a fantastic game.
We really wanted to see that one last year, and I think it was nixed. But this year it's going to be even bigger because now it's a region game.
Well, yeah, let's read some of these scores on the bottom. If anybody's driving home, can't see that little writing. Heritage stays undefeated, 47-0. Chattanooga Prep. Southeast Whitfield 30-17 over Druid Hills. Daresville big win, 49-10 over Ringgold. Coahulla Creek hangs on, 25-22. Bremen 37-6 over Ridgeland. Gordon Lee 26, Lafayette 22. That's upset of the night right there. Gilmer 35, Wesleyan 20, Lumpkin 42, Pickens 7. North Murray beats Haralson County 40-29. Fannin County 47-0 over Gordon Central. Bowden 55, Temple 27. Heard County 57, Clarkson 14. Darlington 33, Dade 7. Coosa 33, Armurchie 17. Pepperell 21, Chattooga 7. Mount Zion 21, Jasper nothing. St. Francis beats Christian Heritage 26-7. Model 44, nothing over Murray County. So yeah, the model offense is looking pretty good a couple of weeks in a row. I agree with Mr. Burdick here, man. Tonight was the night for the favorites to step up and look good. Adairsville, Cedartown, Darlington all look very solid. Like I said, of those three final scores, man, I think the Adairsville one was the one that surprised me the most. 49-10 over Ringgold. I mean, I was one of the people that thought that would be the battle for the 6 AAA championship, but I guess now going forward it's Bremen and Adairsville. Bremen is 2-0, Adairsville 2-0. I'm not sure at what point they play during the season. Cahula's 2-0. Cahula hung on tonight, 25-22.
I'll see when that Bremen game is.
I was doing the exact same thing.
Like I said, there wasn't too many upsets tonight, on paper, not too many mathematical upsets. Gordon Lee, they were 11-point underdogs, got the win. I think that's going to be our upset team of the week. Coosa with their third upset in a row, and Gilmer County was only a 2-point underdog. And
Adairsville and Bremen face each other on October 28th.
October 28th. That's the night of the Trine Chattooga game, isn't it?
No, that's the 14th, no, I believe.
14th. Levi says Purple looked a little flat, and Lafayette seems to be fading.
Yeah, Lafayette was on their third quarterback, and Finley was also out tonight too. So I know that's a big hurt for them.
Yeah, that's actually a big loss for Lafayette going forward. They start out 0-2 in 6 AAA. It's going to be hard to battle their way back unless they knock off some big boys down the stretch.
Hey, but we talked about it last year. One of the teams toward the end of the year that played Rockmart the best in that region last year was Lafayette. I mean, one-score game late in the year.
Oh, absolutely. That was I was at that game, and that was a great game. Lafayette played lights out, and they do have some talent, but against a team like Rockmart, they just couldn't hold on. And this year, Walker County, man, they've got a lot of talent up there. It's just hard to tell what's going to happen. I think we'll probably see next week how they shake out.
Yeah, I think the 7-2A got real interesting the last couple of weeks. Haralson County got knocked off tonight, but you've got Rockmart, North Murray, Model now scoring a lot of points. Fannin. It's going to be fun to watch over the next 5 weeks what happens in that region. I still find it hard to believe anybody has enough for Rockmart, though. I mean, if anybody can slow Rockmart down for 4 quarters.
I would be. It's hard for me to think of anybody right now in 7AA who could slow them down, except for maybe Fannin County. Only because Fannin and Rockmart haven't traditionally played each other, and they just might not know each other as well as a team. It might take them some time to shake out in that game, but we faced them very late in the season, so that actually could end up being the AA championship game.
Yeah, I think the advantage that Fannin has in that game is you guys actually travel up to Fannin, man. And I don't know if you've ever been up there, but that's a heck of a place to play. Crowds.
Yeah, it's a heck of a drive too.
Yeah.
So tell me, in that region, who's got in 7AA, who has the best defense? Is it going to be the Fannin defense, opposite of Rockmart, that is, or is it going to be the model defense that Rockmart sees this week?
That's interesting. If we look at it on paper, I would say right now Model has the better defense going against Rockmart, but that could get real interesting real quick.
I just happened to look at the schedule and I seen that Rockmart's at home against Model, next week.
Yeah. I thought it was Fannin next week, but the model coaches told me, yeah, they got Rockmart in between, last week and Fannin. But yeah, the following Friday night, man, Fannin County, that's going to be a huge game. Levi says, man, shocked with Coosa improving as quickly as they have. The youngsters are set to boost that program, but I don't think it'd be this season. I have to agree, man. I was watching film this week and I saw this linebacker Harrison East. He's just a sophomore for Coosa. I noticed him in the Gordon Central game. 6'1", 205, a real solid kid. I think Coosa could cause some people some trouble, man, for the rest of the season if you're not careful.
And Coosa very well, if they continue to develop as they are, could end up as a fourth seed playoff team.
Yeah, they'd have to pull a couple of upsets between here and there, but I mean, Pepperell, Dade.
That's with the way the single A is set up right now up there. I could see that happening. They're all going to beat up on each other before the end of the season. So,
Cass tonight with a 63-7 win. Important win for the Colonels as they get ready for that 7-5A play. Starts next Friday night. You got a couple of big ones in 7-5A next week. You've got Calhoun at Cartersville, of course, and then you have Dalton at Hiram, which I think you have to win that one if you're going to make the playoffs.
If you're Dalton, you definitely have to win that one to make the playoffs at this point. Hiram has been improving week by week, at least based on the scoreboard and what they've been able to put up. I think that we could very well look at a Cartersville, Calhoun, Hiram, and then maybe Cass in the fourth seed for that region this year in the playoffs. Just the way that those teams look right now.
Yeah, if I had to rank them, I'd rank them the same way. I mean, I think Hiram is probably the most talented team outside of Cartersville in 7-5A, but it's just a matter of them putting it all together. Calhoun's got great coaching, great players also. I think the Hiram Calhoun game is going to be fun to watch.
That one should be fun to watch. Definitely Cartersville Calhoun this year should be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the way Dalton's been playing on and off, and the fact that they had some guys missing tonight, that Calhoun Dalton game could get really fun too very quickly. If they can score on Calhoun's defense.
Yeah, I guess the Bulldogs have their big one next Friday night, huh? Against the Lions. The Central Lions come to town.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's their big one. The Heritage game will definitely be a big one for Cedartown coming up, and Northwest Whitfield. Those are the three big games left on the schedule for them. Snorville, those could surprise us. We do travel, I believe, to play Phoenix this year, and they're a pretty good squad. I mean, they've been doing well. They didn't look great against Calhoun. They had this week off, so I guess it's just kind of wait and see how they do in the first week of region play.
Yeah, they're hosting Northwest Whitfield next Friday night, which would be an outstanding game.
That should be a really good game.
You expect the scoreboard to get lit up in that one, but
I think in that region it could be. It's going to come down to Cedartown, Northwest, and Central. To me, obviously, I would go with Cedartown right now, but if Northwest could get past Central, then you would see the Cedartown Northwest game. Is that week 10? Yeah, the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Heritage has been playing really well. Also, they're kind of flying under the radar, but I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got a 47-0 win over Chattanooga Prep tonight.
Mount Zion with a 21-0 win over Jasper County, back in the win column after dropping to Brookstone last weekend. We still got a few weeks to go, man, before that big Bowden Mount Zion Christian Heritage round robin for the playoff spots.
Yeah, Bowden is just kind of put their foot forward for sure tonight with that win they had. So I would go with them in that region. And man, that second spot, it's kind of hard because you don't know exactly what Mountain Zion.
Mm. Like I said, I don't. If I see your tweets, I mean, I see your comments there, David. If that's true, man, that's a tough loss for Mount Zion.
What's up?
Yeah.
I'm curious what Mr. Burdick thought Fannin played like a whole different team tonight. Good or bad? Positive, negative, different in what way? 47-0.
They're one of those teams that's got that offense going too. They were a little
For sure.
sluggish early in the year, and I think they were missing some folks, but that can happen, but especially early.
It kind of shows too. Those first 2 weeks of the season, we're like, what is up with Fannin? They lose to Union, they lose to Gilmer, but now we're seeing that Union and Gilmer are pretty good football teams.
Yeah, there's a few situations we've looked at that, and we were kind of like, man, these people are these teams down? And no, it's just the other teams are up. Which is good for Northwest Georgia.
Yeah, I tell you, you got to give a shout out after shout out to Paul Standard up there at Gilmer, man. I mean, second year up there with that program, and we know what he did at St. Pius for 25 years, and you just kind of wonder if he could do the same thing up there, because he has a different type of ball player in Gilmer than he did at St. Pius. But I mean,
yeah.
Great job so far.
All right, so question for you guys: does anybody beat Carrollton this year? The University of Carrollton seems to keep rolling, just like they have no competition.
There are some teams on their schedule, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
Oh man, I know Hillgrove scored a lot of points on them tonight. Which I was kind of surprised by. 28 points for Hillgrove, and Hillgrove was what, a 1-3 team. I don't know who they have on their schedule. Pebblebrook, Westlake, maybe. I think they might get beat by Westlake. Yeah, I think East Coweta game next weekend is going to be a good one. Come back and ask me after the East Coweta game, and I'll tell you.
Fair enough.
Let's see what.
Just based on the way that they've been playing so far this year, they beat Rome the way they did. South Paulding is about the only team that I feel like has come as close to beating them out of anybody out of the first 6 weeks of the season. So I don't see anybody really stopping them. Maybe they'll stop themselves.
Yeah, he said fewer mistakes. It's about Fannin. Fewer mistakes and more solid defense. Discipline across the board for Fannin. I expected to drop off in talent, more like Chattooga's going through. I mean, I think coming into the season, we kind of wondered about Fannin, if they were going to have a talent drop off. And after that first 2 weeks, we thought, yeah, they're down. But I mean, that's another coach, man, we have to give a shout out to. Cheatham at Fannin County.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a great job up there. I remember back in the old days, man, you had Fannin County on your schedule. You just circled that one as a W,
You just back when I played, if you had Fannin, which I'm not sure if we even played Fannin, you wanted them early in the season. You didn't want them when it was 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same way for whoever ends up the 4 seed and 7A. You're going to end up at Rayburn County, and it's going to be 20 degrees.
Speaking of them, I wonder how that game came out. Last score I saw was 21-14 Rayburn in the fourth quarter.
It was a close one. I seen the final. Rayburn won, but it was closer than we thought the final was. I don't see the final now.
Yeah, I'm just curious what that Whitefield Academy has, man. Because like I said, there was a lot of people high on them preseason, and I didn't even have them on my top 15. And
let's see, alternative source here.
That's one thing about those academy schools, man. You don't ever know what players they have until the season starts. Somebody knew something, though.
28-14. No. Yeah, 28-14. I mean, that's impressive to hold Raven to 14.
Yeah.
Well, they come in undefeated. I hadn't looked at their stats or anything. Let's see if there's anything that stands out.
Yeah, I thought they'd played a pretty easy schedule up to this point, to be undefeated. I mean, I wasn't real impressed with any of the wins they had, but I mean, 28-14 at Rabin, pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I would totally agree with that. A senior quarterback that's threw for about 600 yards so far, and then man, I one thing I noticed going down through their playmakers here, it's got an SR next to about all of them. So you got a lot of a lot of seniors. Number 1, number 4, number 8, number 21, number 28. I mean, a bunch of seniors. So that means a lot.
Yeah, speaking of 7A in the playoffs, man, you talk about going to Rabin as the 4 seed. I think the 3 seed's going to have a tough time too. Elbert County. Elbert's been playing well.
And you're going to have to go to the Granite Bowl. I mean that'll be a fun trip. But
Elbert was top 10 this week in the AJC poll.
Yeah, and they come into this week 4-0 as well.
They'll get their chance at Rabin at some point down the season, probably week 10. Yeah, I got to looking this week, man. I'm always looking ahead at playoffs early in the season. And playoffs, 6 AAA, man. You definitely want to finish number 1 in 6 AAA. You don't want to finish 2, 3, or 4 because you're going to play one of the top 5 teams in the state. They got the number 1, number 3, and number 5 team.
Jeez.
Ouch.
And what region is that, you said?
5 AAA.
And those teams are?
It is Cedar Grove, of course, is the number 1. Sandy Creek and Carver, Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember talking about Carver, Atlanta.
And Cedar Grove just looks like a beast this year, man. They're a beast year in, year out, but this year they look extra beastly.
Extra beastly.
I remember them coming to play a couple of years ago in Rock Martin. Man, that was a game and a half. It took everything Rock Mart had to try to beat them, and it was 2, 3 overtimes.
I got to give a shout out to this fella, Harrison East, man. He's the guy I was talking about, the sophomore for Coosa. He says, y'all looking at a brand new team this year, man, and I can see it.
Cedar Grove took one on the chin tonight against Colquitt County, 39-17.
Oh, wow.
But they have wins.
Wow.
Yeah, they have wins over Westlake and Collins Hill. They beat Collins Hill 40-6. So
Colquitt County must be pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Colquitt's sitting at 5-0, and they're a big school, 7A.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, but if you're one of those the 4 seed out of 6 AAA, if you're having to travel down there first round of the playoffs, man.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, even the last seed is not
Douglas, right? Isn't that who Douglas is?
Yeah. Did you see what Levi said? Colquitt is a college team. Yeah, that's
so like the University of Carrollton, then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget Raven hung 72 points on Adairsville. That's true, man. I don't know what happened that night with the Tigers, the Green Tigers. I tell you what, though, it lit a fire under them. That's for sure.
Well, just taking a look at it, Colquitt County is a small college, 2,500 students.
That's a lot of kids.
Could you imagine having 2,500 kids to choose from? I wonder how that compares to, say, like Carrollton.
Carrollton's probably got about that many. I know Rome's sitting at 1,800, and they're a 6A school, so you got to have at least 2, I think, to qualify as 7A.
Yeah, I don't see the newest numbers. I just see the 2020, 2022 reclass.
Yeah, so pretty by the book night here in Northwest Georgia. Like I said, we had a few upsets along the way, but biggest upset tonight, Chris. Biggest upset mathematically was Gordon Lee over Lafayette. What 25-22 was that the final?
26,
26.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Chris, we didn't have too many of them tonight. Coosa upset our Murchie, 7.5 point underdog. Gilmer over Wesleyan. Gilmer was only a 2 point underdog, which I thought was surprising at the time when I made the list. I was like, man, this has got to be wrong. But Gilmer County Bobcats, man. Look and see when the Lumpkin game is. Lumpkin and Gilmer. That's going to be a game.
Oh, I agree with you. Let me pull it right quick.
Yeah, man. Benton called that Trojan upset. Yes, he did.
Well, honestly, I hate for Lafayette to lose with the the people out, but you can't make excuses. So I guess my upset was based on some knowledge that I had.
Some inside information.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. I've been known to use some inside information.
Let's see here. Looking at Gilmer's schedule, Gilmer has Lumpkin at home on 10-7.
It's going to be a game.
And you would expect by that time, let's see, Gilmer has West Hall. You would think that would be a win. Looking at Lumpkin's schedule going forward, Lumpkin has a test against Wesleyan next week before they go to Gilmer on the road, both games.
Scrapper Sewell here says Wesleyan will beat a lot of teams, man. Gilmer just kept pounding.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, the only person on this crew here that thought Gilmer was going to win was me. Anyway,
like I said, I got to give a shout out to the Bremen Blue Devils again, man. If you missed it earlier in the show, because they were my upset pick of the week, and they came out and just put the hammer down on my Panthers. I'm about to come up with. I'm gonna have to study better for next week, man. Like I said, you got a 3-game lead on me. I'm gonna have to pull something out of my pocket. Well, man, since Chris is jumping in, I'm gonna jump off and go make some real money, and we'll see you guys Tuesday.
Y'all, I gotta hop off too, but I appreciate y'all, and thanks for letting me hop on.
All right, guys.
No problem. See y'all. What's up, Chris?
What's happening?
What was you able to see tonight, boss man?
I was able to see a bruising battle. I saw North Murray. They beat Harrelson 40-29 tonight, and Seth Griffins, he continues to have the hot hand. He had 2 rushing, 2 passing. I got to see a couple guys back for North Murray that were out early in the season with injuries. Aiden Ellis had a big game. He's one of those sophomores that was out early. And Tyler Henry, running back for North Murray, another sophomore, had his first varsity touchdown tonight. He had 2 of them. I guess he wasn't satisfied with one. So that was a big win. That was a good way to start the region play for North Murray there. So I'm sure they're happy about that.
Tell me about that Harrelson County team, because we've talked about it. They've been sort of a mystery. We're trying to figure out what exactly. I
didn't know who they were. They were passing the football.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw quite a few passes. I mean, it's still the majority of that Harrelson County offense. Their MO is they're going to bruise you, and they come out 3 yards a pop. And they did that several times tonight. They broke free for a couple big plays, but it's a classic Harrelson offense, a physical up front, and they're going to move the football down the field. But I was surprised to see that much passing mixed in. So they did look pretty good.
Who did they have at quarterback? I'm just sorry. I'm asking all kind of questions. I'm just trying to get.
I've got them. Tweeted about them all night.
Okay. Was it Tucker Wade or was it Hayden Williams? Howden Williams?
It was Hayden Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a quarterback. He had I think he had a couple rushing touchdowns tonight. Also, Caden Hughes, he had a big 51-yard touchdown there in the second quarter for Haralson County. But that's still a very physical football team. So I'm still looking at them as a possible playoff team. I think that model Haralson game is going to be pretty important.
You speak of model. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm very interested to see what that model defense does with Rockmart next week. I think that could be not. I'm not saying that model's going to beat Rockmart, but I'm saying I'm interested to see what that defense can do with Rockmart.
Yeah, if they got the speed to contain a few of those guys, Rockmart brings a ton of speed, and it's not just like one or two guys. You're talking 7, 8 different guys
from every direction. Yeah,
from every direction. They got athletes everywhere. Model 44-0 tonight. They looked pretty good. They found an offense last week. I heard somebody say, and
yeah,
man, they enjoy having it. They put up plenty of points tonight.
They really enjoyed it. Have you seen all the scores? If not, I'll run through the.
I'm watching them go by right now, and
okay. Well, I'll go ahead and throw this up here and read them off as we go. I'll try to make them a little bigger so everybody can see them if you're looking on your phone or whatnot. All right, we'll start at the top. Hillgrove was defeated by Carrollton 56-28. South Paulding beats Noonan 42-14. Rome over Altoona 42-19. Villarica gets the win at Banneker 30-9. Cedartown big over Dalton 43-9. Cass with a big win at MLK 63-7. Osborne beats Woodland 38-14. Heritage 47, Chattanooga Prep 0. Southeast Woodfield gets another win 30-17 over Druid Hills. Adairsville shows up and puts it on Ringo a little bit 49-10. Kahula Creek in a close one with LFO. It was close all the way down to the wire 25-22.
Wow.
Kahula gets the win. Bremen takes it to Ridgeland a little bit 37-6. Scroll on down. We talked about Lafayette had a couple of players out tonight, but they get upset by Gordon Lee 26-22. Gilmer with a big win over Westland 35-20. Sets up a big one with Lumpkin in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Lumpkin 42-7 over Pickens. Like your North Murray Mountaineers 40-29 is the score that I had. That's what you said, correct?
Yep.
Fannin County also in that region 47-0 over Gordon Central. Bowden puts 55 on Temple 55-27. Hurd gets a win over Clarkston 57-14. Darlington 33-7 over Dade County, and I think Lawrence said that they held Dade rushing attack to less than 50 yards.
Wow.
Coosa put some points on the board and wins at home against Armurchie in a big game early, 33-17. Pepperell wins at Chattooga, 21-7. It was a close one until later in the game. Pepperell pulled away. Chattooga scored with about a minute left to make it 21-7. Mount Zion with a 21-0 win over Jasper County. St. Francis beats Christian Heritage 26-7. And then, of course, the Model Blue Devils beat Murray County Indians 44-0.
Two big teams that really stand out here. Gilmer.
Yes, sir.
That was a huge win for Gilmer.
Huge win.
They're tough. I can't believe they went over and played Ringgold the way they played Ringgold last week.
Yeah.
Because you saw how Ringgold squared up against Adairsville, that's a very tough football team. And the other one that sticks out, Southeast Whitfield, 4-1 to start the season before region play. So good for them. I mean, they're coming back. So I like to see that.
Gilmer has Gilmer has Lumpkin in 2 weeks. Lumpkin got the win tonight over Pickens, and they have Westland next week, which Gilmer just beat, and then they have Gilmer on the road. So Lumpkin, you're gonna find out a lot of things the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you'll find out a lot next week how they match up with Wesleyan.
Yep, absolutely.
So Adairsville, they're rolling along. I see Coahulla Creek had a close one there with LFO.
Yeah, we were interested about that one. Neither one of us had any details about the game.
I think Coahulla Creek, they've been battling some injuries, is what it is. Some of their big players were out this game, and hopefully they can get those guys back real soon, get back on track. They got some big games coming up.
Absolutely. Next week, Adairsville, after the big win, will be on the road at Lafayette. You would hope that Lafayette would get some of their guys back. I'm not sure the extent of the injuries, but to give them a better shot at it. And then you look down the road, 10-28 and 11-4. Adairsville will be at Bremen, and then they'll host Coahulla Creek. I'm not overlooking Gordon Lee. I just look at those matchups as being the a big time matchup. Bremen looks more and more like a playoff team as the year goes on.
Yep. Yes, they are. I thought they were a playoff team preseason. I thought Lafayette was a playoff team preseason, but it's going to be really tough for them. Taking 2 losses to start region play with some very tough games coming up.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough to battle back from for the Ramblers. But Bremen, they're in a good spot, and I think Ringgold's going to play themselves right into one.
Man, talk about having about 5 or 6 teams and only 4 spots. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we've always been saying that about 7-4A, 5 teams and 4 spots, and it's really 4 teams battling for 3 spots. I think Cedartown has pretty much cemented themselves as one of the top dogs here in the Northwest Georgia area. So what they did tonight, I think they were up 43-0 at half, and I think they'll cruise like that through the rest of the season. It's that good of a team. I think they're a contender. I think they can be right there at the end. Maybe bring home a trophy, a big one.
Yeah, a big one. Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah, I don't. They have Cedartown is at home against Central next week, and then you look at the end of the year against maybe Northwest, who does things a little different. Throws the ball around. I'm thinking that you're gonna have to throw the ball around, or you're not going to beat Cedartown.
Yeah, if you look back at last season, Cedartown with that good defense, they held a lot of teams to very little offense in that region last year. The only team that was able to put some points on the board was Northwest. Yeah. So Owen Brooker in that passing attack, I think, is the solution for dealing with that Cedartown defense. But is it going to be enough? Is there any team out there in 4A that's got enough of it passing attack that can compete with those guys and put up enough points to beat that Bulldogs team? Because they're tough. They're the real deal.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely tough. I agree.
Yep.
Right now, Max Preps has Cedartown as the number 1 ranked team in 4A.
I'd agree with Max Preps on this one. That's big for Adairsville.
Pretty darn good strength of schedule as well.
That's a big win for Adairsville. I think Adairsville's kind of put themselves out there as the front runner in 6 AAA. I know there's going to be some teams that come along and compete with them, but I think they're the team to beat. I think they're cruising into to a home playoff game for sure.
This may not be going out on a big limb, but just looking at the top 20 teams that Max Prep has in 4A, I believe, I don't want to jinx anybody, but I believe Cedartown is going to win the title this year.
Yep.
I don't see now locker room material, obviously, but I don't see any of these teams that's going to beat Cedartown.
No. Cedartown's too fast, too physical. If they don't overlook anybody, they don't let it get to their head, keep their heads down, keep working.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to overlook anybody. I think that coaching staff's going to have them ready to go. They're going to put up their 35, 40 points at halftime, and get the young kids in the game, and that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an exciting year for Northwest Georgia football.
Yeah,
We've got quite a few teams out there that can go compete for a state title, and we've got more than what I've seen in a long time.
I got a feeling that we may be doing the post game shows later on in the year than we normally do because we're going to have something to talk about.
Yeah, it'll be Christmas specials. That's how long I think everybody's going to be playing.
We could just we could get on the sideline and we make videos and cheer our teams on to the championships.
Yep, I think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be several. I know there's several out there that can compete with that South Georgia teams and some of those Atlanta teams. This is going to be exciting postseason for Northwest Georgia area.
I mean, look at a team like Darlington. I mean, you would assume that a team like Darlington would be able to compete with just about anybody. Now, I don't know who the big dogs are, quote unquote, in single A. Probably some private schools.
Oh, you see Irwin?
Yeah,
that Irwin's definitely one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Brooks. There's a couple
Brooks
more,
County.
But I think Darlington's physical enough to play with any of them.
Yeah, Irwin for sure, talented team.
How about Bowden in that D2, that single A D2? They're putting up 55 tonight on Temple. And Temple's a tough football team.
It looks like you better bring your lunch pail if you're going to play them too, because I mean they're scoring some points.
Yep. Then you take a look at Cedartown, and I still think Rome is a very tough football team. I think they're a contender in that 6A.
And Cartersville and even Calhoun's not going to go away. Calhoun's going to battle you. They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, they're a different team come playoffs. Yeah, they're a different team come playoff times, and you know they're going to be there in the playoffs. You got Carrollton in that 7A. So there's a lot of,
and there's even teams like Dyersville. Depending on matchups, Dyersville could take you a few rounds deep. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great playoffs for.
Yeah,
I mean, even the season's been good so far, and I think we got a lot of good coming up, a lot of interesting games.
Yeah, and I think some of these 7AA teams, I think if they get on a roll here late in the season, I think they could make playoff runs. I like the way they stack up against AA across the state.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I think I'm going to sign off here and.
Yep, I'm going to sign off as well. It's been a long day. It's been a busy, hectic work week for me. I was glad to relax and watch some football tonight. So.
Yes, sir.
And it was a light schedule this week. There was a lot of teams on a bye week, but next week there's going to be some big time games, so that will be very interesting.
Yeah, this guy says, "Look who Calhoun's been beaten by." I agree. That's what I was just saying. Calhoun is a good team, and they're going to be a tough out when it comes to playoff time. Whatever seed they're at, if Calhoun ends up falling to the 2, I'm not sure if they fall lower than that. That's going to be you don't want Calhoun coming to you. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you don't. Not during the playoffs. They're a different team, and I think. We're still only halfway through the season. They could get on a roll in the second half.
Yeah,
and they could start next Friday. I mean, Calhoun's a very good team, so is Cartersville.
Yeah, Calhoun gets the W here, then we're probably going to sweeten the conversation about Calhoun. Let's say that.
Yep. All right. Well, let's sign off here and get some rest and watch college football tomorrow.
All righty, go Dogs.
Yes, sir. Go Dogs. I will see you guys next Friday night.
All right, we'll see you.
See you, bud.